So, Caitlin Clark is getting defended by people from all walks of life. From all, we've heard Skip Bayless. We've heard the biggest sports people in the world be out here defending the number 22 from Iowa. But now we have got Dan Patrick defending her.
The WNBA is going crazy, and for good reason. Caitlin Clark just demonstrated why she's a once-in-a-century phenomenon by becoming the first athlete since Michael Jordan to have her own signature basketball shoe. Yes, Michael Jordan is the most famous and valuable athlete in the world. No one has ever accomplished that feat since Jordan, and Caitlin's influence isn't limited to her first season in the WNBA. She's upending the whole sports world, and basketball fans are asking who's like Wayne Gretzky, even though hockey was never as popular as it was when Wayne Gretzky was playing. It was absurd how much it grew. Michael Jordan most likely eventually went on to Con Clark, where it's like individual people make an entire country tune into their sport 1,000%. Tiger Woods' talent is on another planet, a level that players like Angel Reese can only dream of. Caitlin Clark is more than just a player, she is a revolution, and both fans and critics are observing her every move. However, when you are this good, jealousy comes with the territory, and haters are just part of the package when you're dominating the game and changing the culture all at once. The strange thing is that I only saw her last year when they played LSU, but Caitlin Clark is amazing. Congratulations to her and her family. In case you missed it, she has completely changed the course of women's basketball, and to be honest, the sports business as a whole. As the first athlete since Michael Jordan to have her own trademark basketball collection, Clark has landed a deal with Wilson's Sporting Goods. Yes, that Michael Jordan, but it's a huge change that puts Clark in a class by herself. Let's face it, this isn't just about. For decades, women's basketball has been marginalized, underfunded, and underestimated, but Clark's decision to put her name on a basketball and call it day is a sign of power progress, and the realization that women in sports are no longer content to settle for scraps. She has broken past those barriers as if they never existed, and her deal with Wilson is not only a victory for her, but also a huge victory for other female athletes vying for attention. Remember Pete Maravich's NCAA scoring record from her college days? She broke it, which helped Iowa win big games. While everyone else was occupied with catching up, she was out there creating a legacy. She is a game changer in addition to being a skilled basketball player. She is simply Michael Jordan. I understand that you are not a professional basketball player, but she is the Michael Jordan of women. The Michael Jordan comparison in basketball, it may seem like a stretch at first, but consider this just as Michael Jackson made basketball a worldwide sensation. Clark is revolutionizing the WNBA and women's sports in general. She has the talent, the charisma, and above all, the capacity to attract fans who might not have otherwise given women's basketball a second look. Speaking of fans, let's talk about the attendance figures at games that have featured Clark. Viewership has skyrocketed, more than double the WNBA average. For comparison, national broadcasts are now attracting 1.32 million people, which is so high that even the NBA would be embarrassed. Her squad is not only filling seats, but entire arenas. With almost 340,000 fans this season, the Indiana Fever broke attendance records. This isn't a coincidence. Phenomena that extends beyond the arenas in the first week of the season, the WNBA's digital presence has skyrocketed. The league's social media accounts have accumulated 157 million video views, a staggering 380 more than the previous year. You guessed it, who is at the center of that buzz. We knew Caitlin Clark was marketable, but the fact that she's driving the conversation, clicks, and engagement is more than simply her playing the game. She's a one-woman gold mine in terms of her career with some very well-known international stars, including Messi and Ronaldo. Record-breaking sales of jerseys at the NBA's retail store. The league's sponsor media value reached $136, and Clark's leading the pack. Fever merchandise alone experienced a 193% increase. Let me reiterate that, over 1,000% growth due to one rookie. This isn't marketability, it's a movement. $1 million this year, and nearly half of that is directly related to Clark and her Fever. She is transforming brand deals into an art form, attracting high-profile partnerships, and demonstrating that investing in women's sports is not only the right thing to do, but also a wise business decision. It is quite remarkable that Caitlin Clark is ranked higher than Messi and Ronaldo on a global marketability list for athletes. She's actually better than Steph Curry. Steph Curry is behind her on the list, but hold on, there's more. Clark's impact goes beyond the court and into the Indianapolis economy alone. Her ticket sales, merchandise sales, and ripple effects on nearby businesses have generated an estimated $36 million in revenue, and she's only just beginning to do so. Caitlin Clark's ascent goes beyond numbers and records. It's a full-blown. A cultural reset. Every young athlete who aspires to be a professional basketball player looks up to Clark and thinks, that could be me. She is the model for how women's basketball should look, feel, and flourish in the modern period. Her impact is demonstrated by the way she changed, not just by the numbers. The story, she is a walking, talking revolution, not simply a basketball player. In 2024, Time magazine gave her the title of Athlete of the Year. Let's not forget that it's not basketball. Player of the Year, this recognition isn't just a pat on the back, it's a global spotlight shining on her and, by extension, women's basketball. It's embarrassing that it took this long, and what many people weren't willing or were a little reluctant to appreciate was the game on this young white sister of ours. Clark isn't the Female Athlete of the Year, rather, it's just Athlete of the Year, a title reserved for people who redefine what's possible. When Clark showed up for dinner in New York City, it wasn't just another appearance, it was a statement. She's not just a basketball star, she's a cultural icon, mingling with the world's elite and demonstrating that athletes can and should have a seat at every table, from boardrooms to red carpets, and when she steps outside, she's stealing the show. Comparing Clark to Tiger Woods isn't even a reach at this point. It's a fact, just as Tiger transformed golf into a must-watch TV show and fundamentally altered its economics. Basketball is a huge step forward for women in sports. In the same way, Clark is changing the perception of women's basketball by demonstrating that it is not just worthwhile to watch, but also to spend money on promoting and worrying over. Few athletes throughout history have had this kind of pull, but Clark already possesses it. She was a fantastic ambassador for the sport, and incidentally, she came in there and looked out for everyone else. However, great power comes with drama, and her quick ascent in the WNBA hasn't exactly been smooth sailing. Some league veterans aren't happy about the attention she's soaking up, and can you blame them? Clark's immediate fame and multi-million-dollar deals draw attention to problems the league has been facing for years, such as pay inequities, lack of recognition, and the fight for respect. She isn't creating conflict, rather, she is exposing it, and the league is finally waking up. The WNBA just began negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement to increase player compensation and spent $50 million to upgrade to charter flights. This isn't charity, it's for survival. They are rushing to stay up with the momentum that Clark has created because they know she is a once-in-a-generation player. It's about time, but let's not give them too much credit for responding to what has been clear for years. They put forth a lot of effort to gain recognition for women's basketball, but instead of participating in the game, they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. The WNBA has been long overdue for growth, and Clark's ability to pack arenas and draw viewers has put that conversation front and center. With more people tuning in and showing up than ever before, the league is being forced to consider bigger expansion as more than just an option. Their jealousy has caused them to be dramatic rather than let their skills speak for themselves. Chance it is essential. Then there's her $28 million Nike deal. Let that sink in for a second. That's not just a paycheck. It's a mic drop, the kind of deal that says female athletes are just as valuable as their male counterparts, if not more. Clark has made it very clear that the demand is there, so why is there a holdup? Not only is Clark making money, but she's also raising the bar as companies finally see that wagering on women's sports. It's not dangerous, it's shrewd business, and Clark is the winner. The idea that some players are jealous is one that I think probably exists. I mean, would you be envious of someone who got a deal worth $28 million per shoe, whatever it is, before you step up to put the pros in the spotlight? The question now is whether they can maintain the momentum that Clark put them in by himself. It's a completely different game the league cannot afford to lose. They must grow, adapt, and take advantage of the energy that Clark has brought in. If they are astute enough, they will also have their chance. Although Caitlin Clark's career is only beginning, the impact she has already had is astounding. She is not only shattering records, but also breaking barriers, expanding possibilities, and establishing a new benchmark for women's. One thing is certain, Caitlin Clark isn't here to play by anyone's rules, she's here to rewrite them. The true question in basketball isn't whether she can continue, but rather whether the league and the sport can advance to match her level.